Welcome back to our program, Jones and Company. We are speaking with the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Clayton Fernanda. And Commissioner, before we went to break, we were discussing morale in the police force, a question that Mr. Enyas would have raised. And your predecessor, the former Commissioner, Mr. Paul Roll, in a similar platform would have alluded to different pressures that he experienced while being Commissioner of Police, being political pressures.
Yes.
And you would have been a victim of those
Absolutely.
political pressures that would have resulted in you being almost effectively demoted.
Yes.
If you would speak to that and speak to political intrusion
Yes,
by the
yes.
political directorate in the police force.
Yes. Well, Mr. Rowley spoke out and he mentioned the challenges that he had. And I pray to God I never get caught up in that position that he got caught up in while serving as the commissioner. But I know I got caught up a political move. I was home for 3 years. And again, the former commissioner, he spoke out, so it speaks for itself. You could see what happened there. But I always use my situation, that what had happened to me, and I pray to God that it never happened to none or no officer again in this Royal Bahamas Police Force. If that was to happen on my watch, I feel I will just step down. Because what had happened, nobody could explain, not even up to the day, as to why. And that also contributed to the morale, some of the morale that went down very low during that period. That contributed in a big way. So I'm here now to support my officers that under my watch, I will be speaking out if something like that were to happen. But I don't see it, not right now at this stage. I don't see it. But when you're talking about the morale, I also encourage my commanders to pay attention to the troops on the ground. They're the foundation. They're the ones that assist in making the whole team look good. So I encourage them to, do some in-house service award for good work. Always, what it is for you to bring an officer in and commend him. For this is some good work. I'll give you have this, award him with something, even if it's an extra day off. I intend to do with the powers invested in me as the commissioner to assist with that. I could promote now, I could call an officer to my office, a constable who has done some excellent work, outstanding work, and said, based on that, I am promoting you to corporal, or a corporal to a sergeant. I can do that as a commissioner after consulting with my minister. And I know that won't be a problem in doing that. And I intend to do just that, to assist, not wait for promotion to come around. If you're doing some good work, I'm going to identify you and ensure that you get what is duly deserved for excellent work. And that assists in a big way in bringing them around.
Commissioner, the Bahamas covers 100,000 square miles.
Wow, yes.
We're a very vulnerable country to all sorts of nefarious acts, drug trafficking, human trafficking, guns coming in. How does the various uniform branches work together in terms of nationally securing our country?
Dr. Enyas, good question. And I'm doing just that in terms of bringing all of the law enforcement agencies together, which include the police, the defense force, immigration, even the prison. What we are doing, and I mentioned again during my remarks during the ceremony, that I will move quickly to identify a task force, a firearms task force, because we know that a lot of firearms are coming into our country and right through our borders. You mentioned how wide we are and so wide open. And firearms continue to come into our country and getting into the hands of the criminals and eventually being used in the commission of offense. Our task force unit will consist of those same agencies. We have already identified 2 officers from all of those agencies who will be a part of this task force, including our U.S. partners. And that office will be housed at police headquarters. We have already did our vetting with the police officers. We should have that office should be open between now and the 2nd week in September. So you will be seeing, wow, you will be seeing some excellent work with our U.S. partners. We know that most of our firearms is coming right from the U.S. Just a week ago, there was an individual who went to through the courier, and we know that there's a lot of things happening through that. Went, pick up a package. We had the intel. Again, our intel was waiting for us. It was right on cue. I had the intel, and he went to the courier, got this box, and we was able to intercept him. And when we checked the box, it was a microwave, and in the microwave there was 4 pistols and assorted ammunition, and came in right from the U.S. So this task force will be focused, a more focused approach on things like this. And now it don't stop there. We now have to trace that firearm to see exactly where that was purchased from in the U.S. So obviously there's another suspect
link
on that side,
Yeah.
the link right there.
Yeah.
So the kind of work you will see coming from this task force unit. Also the firearm and gang unit, just moving around the streets here. And we are taking plenty guns, and they are focusing on the gang with ceasefire, and they are getting, excellent results. Number of firearms off the streets. So you will see that unit being highlighted, and also the domestic unit, the domestic violence unit. That will be a standalone unit. That is a hot topic now in the country with the abuse of little children and females. That's something is a no-no for me. Okay, I get cross when I hear things like that. So this is going to be a unit that stands alone, away from CID, but stands alone with other arms in there, like social service, and then victim support unit for comfort. And it's going to be in a comfortable area where people will feel good to come in to make a complaint, feel good about that they go into the professionals, and not any and anybody could be in that area. Have to be handpicked and well qualified that show some kind of love and care for victims.
You know, Commissioner, I was smiling when you said that, because many of us behemoths watch Law and Order.
Yes.
The victims, in Law and Order, they got this victims unit.
Yes.
You know,
Victim support.
and that's my next question. It seems to me, Commissioner, that we just, in the Bahamas, we just an extension of Miami.
Yeah.
All right?
Copycats.
Yeah, and many of the crimes we commit here,
Yeah.
we copy what happened in the U.S.
Yes. Yes.
What is your opinion of that?
Well, we see it happen. We being law enforcement and overseeing these, you have to be up to date as what is going on in the world, and you always say, boy, this could trickle right down to my doorstep.
Yeah.
So you always have to be focused as to what's going on in the world and try to prepare yourself for that. And we are doing just that, and that which include all the law enforcement agents. That's why I wanted that coming together. When you look at national events as well, it always you see is the police performing with national events. Why all the law enforcement agencies can't come together and assist with national events? When is it? You will see now come Junkanoo. Boxing and New Year's Day, where you and you see the police,
See the
you
fence
will see
force.
the fence force, and you will see the prison. We working together as a team to make it happen. If a riot squad, we're going to have officers training from all law enforcement for a riot squad across the board with all the agencies. So if any events or national events or something of emergency, we can work together. I think that was missing for so many, for decades, for years, that everybody working in isolation.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Them days gone and should
Yeah.
never come back.
Yeah.
And I think that's a piece of the puzzle that is missing
Yeah,
in this fight.
Yeah.
That's a big piece. We have to be on one page.
Yeah.
Myself and the Commodore and the Commissioner of the prison, we have an excellent relationship. And you could see it coming together, and all of the officers are falling in line with that. So, wow, you're going to see some creative things coming from all of the law enforcement agencies as we continue to approach this crime situation.
It would seem as if head and heart is returning to the Royal Bahamas Police Force in terms of these policies that you outlined that show that there is the support of a commissioner who cares and the support of a commissioner who sees a better way of doing things than we traditionally have. Given that we have about 350,000 people, but millions of visitors a year, and our police force, and I don't know if the public realizes this or if they probably have more of a simplified view of policing in the Bahamas, but the police force then is responsible for policing millions of people a
Yes,
year.
yes.
Those who come here and
Yes.
stay and leave, and those who remain and live
Absolutely,
here.
absolutely.
Given those challenges that you're up against, do you believe that the Royal Bahamas Police Force is adequately resourced and staffed to deal with these issues?
Well, we continue to build. We continue to build. There's a lot of officers who have reached retirement, and some just move on. Right now, as we speak, we have a total of 99 recruits in training who is expected to graduate in another 3 weeks or so. So that is a boost to that. We have to continue our training and recruitment. That has to be ongoing until we reach that number, because people are retiring, and some people just decide that they're going to move on. You see that happening maybe retirement. You could see that happening every 2-3 months. People reach that time. We could always, looking at our roster, you could almost know when an individual is going or who is going. So you have to plan with that. Okay, then you make your recommendation that, look, we need 2 squads in, and we need another 3 to replace these persons. So the human resource have a big task in managing that, to keep us honest and to keep that level of staffing across the board in the organization. And again, that's where the partnership comes in with the other agencies, and when we come together and we make some things happen to police this little island.
Commissioner, a little side segue in terms of traffic,
Yeah.
right? There are thousands of cars
Yes.
in our country, all right? I'm from the old school,
Yes.
Commissioner.
Yes.
When I got my driver's license, I had to pass a test. And one of the things I remember, Commissioner, is that you do not reverse onto a main highway,
No, that's
right?
Yes.
Commissioner, that ain't happening.
Yeah.
And it seems to me, Commissioner, that there's a disconnect between the police and the Ministry of Works, building control.
Yes.
Because you drive up Wolf Road, you drive almost anywhere, you see cars backing onto the main road,
Yes.
and it causes
Congestion and
yeah,
obstruction.
and right, and I said to myself, where is the police? Why are these people who given approval for these buildings not having parallel parking as opposed to vertical
Yes,
parking?
yes. Well, Doc, that is something that we have to fix, and it's an old age problem, but now we have to do something about it. we have to fix is that communication level. The same way how I'm saying law enforcement should come together, all of the other agencies for other areas like that, Ministry of Works, the environmental health, we need to be talking to one another. We need to ensure that we're on one page. You're seeing that school is about to open come Monday, if God's willing. And you can imagine the traffic.
Like on Market Street.
Yes.
Mean Village Road.
Yes. So what we have done already, being proactive, I have just met even with the bus association, because we know the problem we have with the jitney drivers, the students out there, and Ministry of Works, that we have to fix that with Ministry of Works, with road traffic, our partners there. We have to fix that and to deal with it, because the traffic situation, man, it's a mess. And then this is the school time now, and we know the problem we have with the buses, children on the bus after school and all of that. So we met with the bus association, and we have a follow-up meeting on Saturday with all the drivers, so that we could be on one page and try to regulate the bus service around the schools, after school, and even before, on the morning the kids get off the bus. So we have to regulate that and to be on one page, so that bus drivers can't work the police hard. And they have to respect the laws. And if they don't, then we'll cause their license to get revoked and take them out of the bus.
Yeah.
It just can't continue to happen. But this traffic situation, we have to fix it. We are meeting on that to see how best we could put officers and cyclists in strategic areas. And we're looking at mornings, and then come back in the evening after everybody get off, to ensure that the traffic flow smoothly, and persons overtaking the line of traffic, and when you look, they knock some innocent person and all of that. So we want to be more focused with this traffic management. It's about time now we get it right and be consistent in what we do to ensure that they have a smooth sailing with the motorists, and ask them they got to respect the law. If they don't, then we'll get them a ticket.
Yeah. And Commissioner Fernanda, recently you made some comments. I believe there was an issue that occurred and your officers were fired at.
Yes.
And you expressed disappointment in them, because their lives were at risk. And we see now that, of course, and this has been going on for a while, but we see now that the criminals are shooting at police with high-powered weapons, with AK-47s in some instances. What are your thoughts, your policy on the rules of engagement when police engage criminals?
Well, we are not in the business of no warning shots. If your officers, if their lives are in danger, or any civilians, anybody, other lives, they have the right to do what they have to do. Okay, if their lives are in danger, an individual pull a weapon on you, you can't wait for them to. These individuals have no respect for themselves. So what you think? But growing up, you never thought that someone will actually shoot at a police officer in uniform, man. That just their presence in uniform should say, boy, I can't do that. I can't do that. And as I said, I was disappointed with the officers, because the individuals wanted to kill the officers. There's no two way about that. Because it was light flashing, the officers on the PA system telling them to pull over, and they are hanging out the door and shooting back. What you expect to happen?
Yeah. There's a movie, an Al Pacino movie called Righteous Kill.
Yes, I saw that.
And there's a part where Robert De Niro says, some people respect the badge, but everybody respects the gun. I think you have a phenomenon too, where a lot of people tend to make excuses for bad behavior.
Yes.
Oh, they shot my baby, this, that, the next thing, but they don't make any allowance for the atrocious acts that their baby was involved in.
Until it happened to them. I've been in situations, I visit so many scenes, and parents cry their heart out. I've been on a particular scene, the son was shot, and he was still wearing his mask. And when we took the mask off, the young boy, the parents was right there, and all they did was fall out in tears, fell out. Never thought that that would have been their child. And with his gun in his hand.
Yeah.
Only until it happens to them. I was a victim of crime where I was shot. So I understand what victims go through. I understand what victims go through. I was shot. So I could respect what victim goes through. You can imagine you just pulling up home, or you are out and all of a sudden someone just put a gun in your face and take what you have and just shoot you. People going to make deposit. People was killed making deposit. You know, come on, man. And you think that is right? No well-thinking Bahamian or parents should support that. And that's why we encourage parents, please, man, work with your police. Try to steer your kids. Talk to your kids, know where they are. Talk to them. Don't try to give them more ammunition to go there to do foolishness. If they wrong, tell them they wrong.
And even when you have police who are involved in sometimes shootings where they happen to have to kill a suspect, is there any facility for help or counseling or any sort of grief? Because we have police who are on the front lines, who are at the cold face of this issue that is consuming our country. And surely they should need some sort of psychological assistance in some of these cases, because they're dealing in some cases with the worst of the worst crimes and offenders.
Yes, sir. We have a system. We have a chaplain on duty 24/7 in the person of Father Davies. It starts with him, and then we have the doctor they go for counseling and different things, and they'll be evaluated. And some never got back into the front line because they're still traumatized by it. And some will say, man, I'm ready to go again. But we have systems in place to deal with that and do just that. If you could recall, about 2 weeks ago, one of our own was shot. Officer off duty just went to pick up his girlfriend, and he was approached as he came out the car, and there was a struggle, and the individual shot him. He just was released from hospital a few days ago, and quick move by the detectives. They were able to solve that, and 3 individuals now is behind bars as we speak.
Mr. Commissioner, I believe that there's no substitute for experience.
Totally agree with you.
And I also believe that sometimes there are men and women who have sound mind and good physical condition,
Yes.
but have reached retirement age,
Yes.
who shouldn't be retired,
Exactly.
who should be retained because of their experience.
Yes.
What is your view on that?
I totally support that. I always in communication with people like a Paul Thompson.
Oh, yeah.
People like a Keith Mason.
Yeah.
People like a Douglas Hanna.
Yeah.
And all of these officers are senior people, experience and still focused. Mr. Thompson is 95. 95.
Yeah.
I attended his birthday party a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
and he is still writing me correspondence every other week, suggesting preventative measures to assist.
But he was a CID man.
Yes, he grew up in CID.
Yeah.
He retired as assistant commissioner of crime, and he and Mr. Mason, Mr. Mason was like the arching man to the commissioner. You know what I mean? He supported the top team.
Yeah.
These are experience of Mr. Douglas Hanna, vast experience. It was so sad to see him move on early in his career. But he is still in touch and still giving advice and assisting wherever possible. He can do that. So I support that in a big way, and you will see that happening. They will be from time to time. I know at CID, people like Douglas Hanna who grew up in CID, they will invite him down there to speak to the detectives, and advise them on some situation. So I intend to do just that within the college with our recruits, so that they could come in and say a few words to them on certain justifiable force and harm and some other areas within the curriculum as they proceed. But I support that big time. You have a lot of officers out there
With
like
experience,
that.
yeah.
Yes.
Gentlemen, I believe now we've used all of our time, but I want to thank you, Commissioner, for coming on our show and for showing us the pace that you're moving at and for giving us more insight into the changes and to how the force will be a better force now under your leadership. So I want to thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I just want to say to the Bahamian people, this is your police force, and we are here to support you and to ensure that you are safe. So please continue to work with your police force.
Commissioner, I must compliment Mrs. Skippings,
Yes.
because she is a tireless person, and she's the one who organized your appearance.
Yes, excellent. And I know she is listening in. And she is our newly appointed public relation officer, and she is doing an excellent job. And I believe that the information sharing between the police and what we are doing, and try to highlight trends and safety tips. You will see a lot of that going on now leading into the Christmas holidays, and to cause business people to work with the police, and we will work with them in terms of making deposits. Please just call and get to know your commander within the area. If you're making your deposit, man, call and say, please send a car to assist me to make deposit, and that will happen. So we want to prevent these crimes from happening, and we're going to be proactive and on the ground. And this force is proficient and data-driven to ensure that we put the correct policies in place and put the right plan of action in place based on the data collected. It speaks to us. So based on it speaking to us, we have to put a plan of action and execute and account. Structure, accountability, and communication.
Right. Once again, thank you,
Thank
Commissioner
you.
Fernanda, and thank you, Mr. Enyas, for co-hosting with me once again. And I want to thank you, our listening audience, for tuning in to Jones and Company. Have a good evening.